The ladies' wing of the Yoruba Tennis Club hosted a graduate empowerment training program with the theme Acquiring Employability Skills at the V. Ade Allen Hall of the club on Wednesday, September 13, 2023. Present at the event were the chairman, Yoruba Tennis Club, Barrister Brother Olakunle Agbebi, SEN, and wife, Mrs. Fumilayo Agbebi. The vice chairman, Yoruba Tennis Club, Engineer Barrister Olaomi Gasper. Chairman of the Lagos State Civil Service Commission and past chairperson of the women's wing of the Yoruba Tennis Club, Mrs. Olubumi Fabanwo. The keynote speaker, Mrs. Oladotun Adeumi. Facilitator and managing consultant, People's Plus Consulting, Tinuke Bosun Okusaga. In her keynote speech, Mrs. Dotun Adeogun spoke elaborately on the need for young graduates to develop skills that will make them more valuable in the labor market.
And there are times you are forcing your way here, and there is a way that God is creating for you here. Embrace that one while you think that one will still come. Embrace it and build yourself in it. Now, I've told you, it doesn't have to be corporate business. It can be other businesses. You can decide that you want to do creative arts. You can decide that you want to go into sports. And this your generation, there are so many jobs. God, project management, business analyst, this, that. Unlike those days, there is only medicine, law, accounting. Now you have a wider field. So do whatever you have to do to help yourself.
Speaking at the event, the chairman of the Yoruba Tennis Club, Barrister Olakunle Agbebi, SEN, appreciated the keynote speaker for delivering what he described as a wonderful speech.
We would be taking our leave presently because we are still deep in our organizing the anniversary proper. But before I go, since I have the mic, I'd like to thank the keynote speaker for the wonderful, very wonderful presentation. Thank you very much.
Presentation of the theme, Making Yourself Employable, was delivered by a member of the ladies' wing of the club and managing consultant, People's Plus Consulting, Sister Tinuke Bosun Okusaga.
On an average, an employer, you get about 100, just to bring it to the barest minimum, 100 CVs. And you just do a cursory glance, on the CVs you received, and you are seeing typos, you are seeing incorrect English. I won't even bother. I will just jump. I won't even if the person has all the skills I'm looking for. That's a number one put off. If the person cannot speak correct English, that is a big put off. All right, so your communication style, because nobody will know what you have until you speak. Now, you need to engage before people know what you have. So if you can't communicate, then there's really no hope. Leadership, that's the sixth one. Leadership here doesn't mean I'm the head of the department. Leadership means that I am taking responsibility, taking initiative, thinking ahead, not waiting. They've not told me what to do. I'm waiting for. You don't take any initiative. You don't think of what to do. You're always waiting for. We are not looking for those kind of people in the employment market.
This was followed by the question and answer session, during which questions on the theme of the event were raised. Answers were also provided by the keynote speaker and facilitator. The event also featured a special presentation done by former chairperson of the women's wing of the Yoruba Tennis Club, Sister Olubumi Fabanwo, on behalf of the wing, to the keynote speaker, Mrs. Dotun Adeogun.
But some people think that for some professions, you just saunter in. No, not anymore. You want to do procurement, go to Chartered Institute of Purchase and Supply, at least as a starter. Are we together? You want to do, what else again is there? So there's so many institutes, so many graduates, they tell us they just hold their certificates. I've been looking for a job for 5 years. So what have you been doing? Nothing. What's nothing? Having said nothing, that shows that you're not employable. Are we together? You're not employable. You don't want to work. So it's so important. And that's why I'm making this, I'm emphasizing this. Are we together?
Yes, ma'am.
So I will tell our parents too, the fact that somebody has a degree in the current Nigeria is not just enough. It's not enough. You've got to look at, what do I want to do? Is it public relations? There's an institute of NIPR. It's there. You begin to go there. Are we together? Yes. And I tell parents, let's actually be. There's so much more to do for these children. And you to yourself, start earning some money, earn income, do a lot of jobs here and there. It's so important. The time of spoon feeding is past gone. Are we together?
The event came to an end after the vote of thanks was given by the chairman, women's wing of the Yoruba Tennis Club, Sister Fumilayo Agbebi. The Yoruba Tennis Club's 97th anniversary public lecture was held on Thursday, the 14th of September 2023. Themed Transforming Crisis into Opportunities, charting a new economic course for Nigeria. The event was held at the premises of the club. The guest lecturer was Dr. Mustafa Abiodun Akinkumi, Senior Lecturer at the Center for International Policy Studies, Fordham University, New York, USA. The lecturer spoke extensively on inflation in Nigeria affecting transportation costs due to subsidy removal by the Bola Tinubu administration.
Please keep in mind that Nigerian inflation is currently 24%, while Nigeria's GDP growth rate is at miserably at 2.5% at Q2 2023. On policy recommendation, we should desperately seek end of inflation more than we wish aliens are invading us. In some parts of Germany last year, in order to save energy, buildings and monuments that light for aesthetic purposes are no longer illuminated at night. The point is that the West isn't exactly at war with Russia. However, it isn't exactly not at war either. Western weapons have helped Ukraine to stall Russia's invasion and even to counterattack, while economic sanctions have clearly created serious problems for Russian industry. Russia retaliated with a de facto embargo on exports of natural gas to Europe. This shows how Vladimir Putin actually thinks the war is going. After all, this will have huge long-run costs.
Discussants were Dr. Muda Yusuf, the founder and CEO of Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise, CCPE, Dr. Biodun Adedikpe, the CEO of B. Adedikpe Associates Limited. They suggested ways out of the crisis Nigeria is currently facing in the area of food security, food affordability, exchange rate crisis, and more.
Importation of petroleum products, which was putting a lot of pressure on our foreign reserves and creating a problem in our foreign exchange market. That again was a major crisis that was inherited. Then we have the insecurity problem, we have the fiscal crisis, public debt grew from about 12.5 trillion naira in 2015 to almost 50 trillion naira as we speak. By the time we factor in the CBN Ways and Means, which has now been securitized by the National Assembly, our public debt will be getting to about 77 trillion. That is huge. So it's no surprise that we are spending almost 100% of our revenue to service the debt. That is also a major crisis. Then issues of fiscal deficit, which has been growing massively. So in the context of this, the present administration has undertaken some key reforms. The reforms have been good, but at the same time, the reforms have been very painful.
So the question should be this for us. How do we, even where we encourage domestic manufacturing, deepen the local content? That is the connection to job creation, where we can now grow our economy Number 1, sustainably. Number 2, inclusively. And number 3, in a sustained manner. Those 3 words must reflect in what we do with our economy. We want to grow it sustainably, inclusively, and in a sustained manner. Finally, we need to encourage government to do more of engagement. We've seen that already with the current administration. They should do more of that, because what it does is the more feedback they get when it comes to policy. Now, the thing about policy that most people don't understand is this. There is one about policy being announced. Every policy has content, whose content should be sequenced. So there is an important place for policy sequence. And then when it comes to execution, when you execute a policy, or let me say you announce it impacts the people and businesses. So they react in certain ways. The way they react is what will determine whether that policy will succeed or not. In which case, for you to get the policy into proper, to produce the outcomes you desire, then you must also engage so that you get feedback and you can then tinker the policy and adjust until you get the final outcome.
In their submissions, Barrister Olakunle Agbebi, SAN, chairman of the Yoruba Tennis Club, spoke about the importance of planning and putting in place proper structure. Chief Dr. Oluyomi Abayomi Fini, vice patron and trustee of the Yoruba Tennis Club, who was the chairman of the event, stressed the need for building a sustainable economy.
The previous 8 years were not fun for Nigerians. And our present situation has not improved that much. We do know that there are certain aspects of curative medicine, and I'm sure Dr. Finney will correct me if I'm wrong, that may be very painful. So it might get worse before it gets better. The earthquake of the subsidy removal, for instance, was a necessity. But the effect and the impact on the average Nigerian has been significant. So, what future is there for the Nigerians?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not supposed to be making a speech, but I must thank you gentlemen for being so stimulating, and I hope that wherever we find ourselves, either in the public or private sector, you continue to ginger the leadership of this nation. I believe that whatever we're doing now, we want to see, people want to see results. So I appeal to everybody, let us see it as a challenge, and we try our best to move this nation forward as much as we can.
The 97th anniversary lecture of the Yoruba Tennis Club ended with a robust interactive session. The vote of thanks was given by Engineer Olaomi Gasper, MNI, Vice Chairman of the Yoruba Tennis Club. The Yoruba Tennis Club's 97th anniversary Ladies Wing Get-Together Party was held on Sunday, 17th of September 2023. The event was anchored by Sister Lady Joycelyn Ademiluyi. The opening prayer was led by Sister Lady Famous Cool. In attendance were the chairman of the Yoruba Tennis Club, Barrister Olakunle Agbebi, SAN, chairperson of the ladies wing of the Yoruba Tennis Club, Lady Olufumilayo Agbebi, trustee Yoruba Tennis Club, Chief Bolaji Cole, among many others. The welcome address was given by the chairperson of the ladies wing of the Yoruba Tennis Club, Sister Lady Olufumilayo Agbebi.
Long live the elders of the ladies wing of Yoruba Tennis Club. Long live the sisters of the ladies wing of Yoruba Tennis Club. I would like to welcome you all to this 97th club anniversary ladies wing get together party. I would particularly like to welcome to our midst the new members who are attending their first ladies wing get together party. So welcome. For our elders in attendance, Mokiyima, Ekaboma, Ekwadruti, Ekpefuama. Today promised to be a day of fun and enjoyment. We look forward to getting to know each other, dancing, having fun, and eating all that the brothers have provided for us. So without much ado, let the party begin. Greetings all.
New members were then welcomed and briefly given orientation by past chairperson of the ladies' wing of the club, Sister Lady Sholanke. Speaking at the event, chairman of the Yoruba Tennis Club, Barrister Olakunle Agbebi, SAN, appreciated the ladies' wing for holding an event for the first time to commemorate the club's 97th anniversary.
In my limited time here, it's the first time the ladies' wing is holding their own event to commemorate the anniversary of the club. I would like you to give yourselves a big round of applause. But this is not a day for serious talk. This is the celebration of the 97th anniversary of the club. I thank you for putting this event together. I thank you for inviting us. I pray that after this event, all of us will go home safely and will meet our habitations in peace. I pray that when this club eventually turns around to celebrate 100 years, all of you here will be present. All of us here will be present.
He commended them for putting together a training program for young graduates.
I must commend you for what's happened on Wednesday. The training program for young graduates, the acquiring employability skills. I have already spoken I spoke at that event, and I've spoken with the chairperson again, that there will be a follow-up to that training session. Because when our young graduates eventually cross that bridge from unemployment to employment, they need to be taught how to sustain themselves in employment. That again is a skill that they need to acquire.
The event featured an Oriki performance by Akin Ogundokun. The cutting of the cake was coordinated by the compere, Sister Joycelyn Ademiluyi.
2, 3.
This was followed by a photo and video session before the refreshments. The toast was proposed by an executive member of the Yoruba Tennis Club, Brother Ayo Thomas Rogon, who also commended the ladies' wing of the club for putting the event together.
So this is to the health, wealth, prosperity of our ladies' wing and members of Yoruba Tennis Club. Greetings all.
The vote of thanks was given by the secretary of the ladies' wing of the Yoruba Tennis Club, Sister Adun Adeniji. This was followed by music, dancing and merry-making until the end.